All right, here we go. I'm Captain Ricardo Queso. I'm here with Dane, and we're going to roll the dice to see what the gods want us to chat about. Let's go. So 1 to 2 is religion, 3 to 4 is aliens, and 5 to 6 is drugs. I rolled a 4, so we get aliens. That's going
Yeah,
to be cool.
that's a cool one.
Which is very relevant these days. So my first question is, aliens, are they here? Are they coming or don't exist?
Um, Here, I can't really speak to that, but there's a lot of historical evidence to speak that they are or were. Um,
Okay.
Coming, that's a big question. Um, the universe is massive and ever expanding, as scientists say. So if it's as massive as we believe it is, it's kind of a luck of the draw if they're going to hit us, or an intelligence kind of thing. Like, do we really want to go to this primitive ass planet? And I think it's kind of arrogant to think that we are the only ones in this massive universe. So that's kind of where I stand on it. I do believe that they are real. I don't know in what capacity. I don't know if they're little green men with big eyes and little mouths or what.
Right. So I kind of hit all those points. I think personally, I'm a big fan of the like Mesopotamian Babylonian creation myths. An advanced alien species came down, created man as a slave labor force. And as you know, science experiments have a tendency to have unforeseen consequences. They kind of created man and was like, oh shit, we didn't really think about that one, did we? I've done way too many psychedelics. I smoked way too much weed to seen too much weird stuff to think there's not something out there. And like you said, talking about there's evidence to be that they visit. I mean, you know, cultures across the world, tribes have, you know, sky people. Everybody has a sky people story. Um, so I think they've always been here. I'm a big fan of the hollow earth theory, that there's, you know, massive caverns within the earth that like civilizations could live in. That's a fun one I enjoy. And it's weird now because, you know, we have all these UFO sightings and stuff that the government is just coming out and saying, you know, the government's coming out and saying we have shit. You just had the whistleblower say, you know, that the government has up to 12 different shuttlecraft from alien species. I mean, when I love thinking about space because it breaks my brain. Like when you think about like a light year, how far a light year is, that's 6.6 trillion miles.
Yeah,
Like that's just I can't even think about it.
it's completely unfathomable distance.
But also with the government releasing all this, I don't trust the government at all. So there's also you know, it might be a psyop. Like there is a possibility that this is just technology that we already have, and who knows what nefarious schemes the government is going to try to use it against us with, you know.
Oh, sure.
But one thing that I bring up to people that a lot of people don't talk about is interdimensional beings, because we've talked about terrestrial, you know, little green men, reptilians, stuff like that. But what about beings that exist that can cross dimensional? Because like there's like 12, we theorize there's 12 different dimensions and we're in the third. So who the fuck knows what's going on up there? Any experience with aliens?
I
Or I should say, any experience with aliens or UFOs that you like, just something that could be unidentified.
Yeah. This actually happened in like this is pretty recent, 2019, maybe early 2020. I was living up in Phoenix, and I was driving down 19th Avenue to my apartment, and like up in the sky there was, just looked like a bright star. No worries. But then it like shot across the sky, just like blink of an eye, just and then up, just straight up. So I immediately texted my dad because my dad's former Air Force. He was a commercial pilot for Delta. He's a captain, and he saw some shit. He saw some weird
But
stuff that he'd only kind of let us in on a little bit, but enough that, us kids, we were like, oh, so he's seen an alien up close or a UFO up close. So I immediately texted him like that. I got to tell you about this. And so I told him what happened and I asked him some questions and he's like, I'm not going to text you about this. Write it down. And the next time we're together, we're going to chat. So I've got a note written down. I'm like, can I record this? He's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I'm in some hopes of a crazy cool story, but that's really like the only thing I've ever seen with my own eyes.
okay.
That's just kind of the extent of mine.
Well, I know down here, like, there's so much military going on down here.
Hmm.
There's this insanity, and I've seen a couple things out here where, like, I'm from Oregon, so I lived in Oregon my entire life. Never seen Bigfoot, never seen a UFO. But what's funny is I went to New Jersey for 7 months. I met 5 people who claimed to be abducted by aliens, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on over in Jersey here? But just recently, I've been doing some overnights in the desert out here, and I know I know what a satellite looks like. I know what planes look like. I know that the military has different flashing on their planes and everything. And I've just seen a couple things where it's just like a bright. It almost looks like a star. How the planets kind of look, you could tell the difference between a planet and everything. It was just super bright light, and it was just trucking along at a decent pace like most planes and everything do, but there was no signals on it. There was no flashing lights, there was nothing. And then it just disappeared.
Interesting.
So stuff like that. And then I know a lot of like what the recorded UFO sightings coming out are mostly around military bases. Because I feel it's like this. I feel like, I don't know if you've heard the Joe Rogan joke about how, like, if you came upon a tribe of monkeys in the Amazon and they were welding AK-47s and started to, look into nuclear research, we as humans would be like, oh, we're going to keep an eye on these monkeys. And they say that the majority of UFO sightings started coming out around the time when we started doing atomic testing, which, I mean, if I was an advanced civilization and I saw a bunch of little bit more than monkeys doing the kind of shit we are doing, I mean, you think about CERN and HARPA. Oh, was it HARP, CERN?
And I think there's DARPA as well.
DARPA, that's one. I'd probably be keeping an eye on what these monkeys were doing too, because it's literally that shit. What was it? Did you see the movie The Mist?
Yeah, that was
Stephen King.
a weird movie. It was a while back. It was a weird movie, but I enjoyed it.
Brutal ending. Has one of the most brutal endings of any movies. I mean, straight up, like Seven style. Like, oh shit, you just did that.
Neither did Stephen King too.
But it's all because of the military. And like I keep telling people, like, who knows in what deep dark bunker what the military is doing. Down here in the Southwest, they talk about all the military tunnels that are connecting the bases. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which is interesting because you can't use a metal detector out here on the BLM land and looking around. So who knows?
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I would say, with as much money as the government has siphoned off the U.S. citizen, they better have giant fucking tunnels.
No shit.
Connecting. They better have giant fucking tunnels, and they better have a space laser. I'm just saying, with the money that they've, yeah.
It's astronomical, and if they can't develop that shit with what we've given them, they're just absolute failures.
Even more reason to just dismantle the entire federal government. But like talking about going back to interdimensional beings, which is funny because, okay, So I've known a lot of very religious people, and I always ask this question. It was like, okay, you believe in angels? Do you believe in aliens? And they'll say no. And then I ask the people who believe in aliens, do you believe in angels? And they say no. And I'm like, well, why can't they both exist? Because there's going to be beings on a terrestrial level or, physical plane.
Mhm.
But then, like I said, we're going to have interdimensional beings that can, who knows what's going on? What do you think?
I mean, valid for one. And I think that the debate, between angels and aliens may just come down to an issue of perspective, because they could be one and the same, historically speaking. Um, you talked about the Mesopotamian and the Babylonian stuff, and with that, they have depicted a lot of the, I guess, a lot of what we believe to be like there's the sky people, like possibly aliens or angels. And it's not just the Mesopotamians, the Babylonians, they have them all over the world in ancient civilizations. The same, like light bulb shaped carvings and drawings with a man operating. They all have it. Like they have them in Mayan, they have it Cambodia. I've seen them in Cambodia, um, and the ancient civilizations in the Middle East. And that can't be by coincidence because they're all depicting the same thing.
Right.
So if that is a sky person, an angel, an alien, it is all one and the same, and they have been here before, and they have done some crazy stuff, possibly, and potentially still watching us.
Well, like I said, I mean, and I've dabbled into I like the Hindu gods and everything like that, and the idea that I guess it kind of comes into this kind of goes into religion and everything because I think there's evidence in religions that has support for aliens. I think in the Bible, I mean, it talks about fallen angels and Nephilim and all weird sorts of shit. But then when going into the interdimensional, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to hear somehow like what they consider a God conscious, like the what was it, like the eighth astral realm is just a universal consciousness where all information exists. And I think we're probably part of that, but we're probably just a little offshoot, like a little sock puppet filled with the universal consciousness. And we pop down into this realm and pop out and everything like that. But if you're being a pure energy and you can cross boundaries, it gets real crazy. I don't know. We'll see. That was my rambling for the moment. But what do you think about the other government releasing all this UFO photos, UFO videos, all this coming out? Is it a diversion from what they're really doing, or is it like, are they trying to feed us truth, getting us ready for a revelation?
You know, it really could be either one, in my opinion. But I think realistically, what might be going on is it's a bit of it's a revelation. I think that they've just been kind of little by little desensitizing us to the idea that there, are going to be aliens here in our lives soon, potentially. I mean, maybe it's just been a trend, but lately there's been a massive uptick in, the government just talking about it and prominent people talking about it. People like Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, my boy. He's got that foundation to the stars, and he's been doing a lot of work with the government actually recently,
Interesting.
in a serious capacity actually. Yeah, and he's been talking about aliens existing ever since he's been like in the public eye. You know, he's got songs about it, and he's been saying, "Hey, look, I've seen them, all this stuff," and now he's doing all this work with all these high members of society on that front. So not only that, you got people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I think Hillary Clinton even brought it up in a news conference one time. And then don't quote me on that, but um, with this much stuff happening from these people that are supposed to be in the know, I think it's highly possible that, you know, something is going to be released here in an official manner.
I agree with you, and I kind of think it's going to be forced because the age of the internet has really just, you can't keep anything secret anymore. Because what happens when AI, when they drop AI, and it's just going to break through every firewall. It's going to, every government's going to get hacked. It's going to be really interesting, and it can exist on multiple levels. It can be part of a plan to restrict the information flow, but then there's certain parties that will spoon feed us information because, I look back over my life, I grew up on movies and comic books, and the government, you'd be surprised on how much influence the government has had, how much influence it has on the music industry, the movie industry. But things like, the new Doctor Strange movie, I enjoyed the idea of it opening people to the idea of multiple realities, the multiverses. And so that's a big thing. I'm thinking here in the next 20 years, with AI and the possibility of them revealing, life out there, which, like you were talking about, Neil deGrasse Tyson, very prominent people are talking about Michio Kaku. Pretty much every scientist says, yeah, the probability that life exists is just too great. And like the probability that we are the highest form of evolution in the universe is just ridiculous. And I mean, well, scientists are already starting to say that, time and space probably aren't even real, which that is just, it's probably, but I just can't even comprehend how that exists. But it probably is what it is. The Hindu and the Taoist, like, life is nothing, and it's like, that's probably true. But aliens, I know there's just so much to.
What do you think about the stuff that's happened in, was it out in Vegas here recently?
I don't know on that one because they say they have video, and I haven't really looked into it that much, but I know I've been spending some time reading videos, how deep the government propaganda and psyops go is, I don't trust anything anymore. As far as I'm concerned, if they came out and said the world was flat, I'd be like, not surprised. Because they lied to us about so much. And I've definitely learned in my life, take nothing on face value. We look at Joe Biden, nobody's saying that guy is running the country. I mean, nobody's like, hey, he's making all the decisions. And when you go beyond that, you start looking in, to the Bilderberg group, the Rockefellers, the people that they never talk about, that are making decisions behind what's going on. I just don't even know anymore. I guess I'm just too bitter on that one.
Well, I mean, Rockefeller kind of set that in motion. He got his wish. He's the one that, damned our education system to be what it was.
Oh yeah, no, when you look into them, it's hardcore. You got the WEF, and you got, what was it, all the 33 world organizations out of Geneva that are pretty much trying to run the world, which, I mean, rich people have always done that. This is what blows my mind. It's like politicians and rich people have never changed.
No.
If you know anything about history, politicians have always lied and done horrible things. Every war has been started by rich people and fought by poor people. it gets really weird. And when you start getting into the occultism, like, you know, I mean, you see every member of Congress is a Freemason, every president's a Freemason. All the scientists you go back were Freemasons. The Queen was a Freemason, the royal families. I'm pretty sure Jeffrey Epstein was a Freemason.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Well,
It gets crazy.
Fuck him, but also fuck his friends and everybody that went to that island, which is a
110%.
lot of people.
A
lot of people. And we still don't have a list. But they have the list. We love the CIA. You do great things for our country.
Pro ATF too.
Yeah. Thankfully, I don't have a dog. But yeah, you know, just I think there's this good channel called the Y-Files. He does a lot of good videos, well done, documented and everything like that. And they're pretty fun. And a lot of it touch on how the government knows that there's alien beings that are here and that are most likely probably working with the government in some capacity. Now, whether those aliens, I think, you know, just like the Earth is full of different species, the universe is going to be full of different species. And some of them are not going to be very nice. Some of them probably have better intentions for us. I'm just tired of waiting.
For sure.
Like, I'm just like, okay, something, I'm ready for Thunderdome. I'm ready to push past the apocalypse and just get into Thunderdome. R.I.P. Tina Turner. She was banging in that movie. Really did it for me. But I just don't even know what's going to happen, man. Like, they're coming up. I mean, we have Joe Biden, who they're going to push as their person. The Democrats are going to push, who has dementia. I worked in Alzheimer's dementia. I can smell it. And then you have Donald Trump, which I think he's, you know, he was friends with Epstein too. And he's been in the gut, you know, he's been around all those people. He's a rich New York elitist. Personally, I think he's probably controlled opposition to flush out people against the deep state. Because people are stupid and will follow anyone. Which I say, like, you know, I think the aliens created us from DNA of monkeys and maybe injected. They either jumped our evolution forward or they used their own DNA to create something new. I don't know about that. That could be a word. What do you think about that one?
I mean, possible. I mean, if you know, if we're going to be on this subject, I mean, what isn't? But what do you think about the prison planet theory?
Oh, you mean like Scientology style?
Sure.
Because they talk about how all the, like, there was a galactic war and this is a prison planet for all the prisoners, and we have to evolve our spirits to a certain level to escape, which could be true. Because, I mean, I don't know. I kind of think we are beings of pure energy, trapped in a body of, in a cycle of reincarnation till you vibrate to a, you know, have you heard of the soul net?
I've heard of it, but I'm not knowledgeable on it at all.
Well, I mean, I think it's just it's literally what it is. It's a soul net. It keeps the lower vibrational souls trapped on Earth, and they go through a karmic cycle. And once you graduate that karmic cycle, then you get to fly free throughout the universe or something like that.
Huh.
Nicholas Tesla said, once we stop, what is it? Once science starts studying non-physical phenomena, we will learn more in a decade than we learned in 100 years, you know, 1,000 years. I think
I did hear that, yeah.
Because, I mean, first of all, humans are arrogant. we're just ignorant and arrogant. We like to think we know something, but we don't know shit.
No, we don't know dick all.
And so once, AI hits, it could either wipe us out like Skynet, or I think it's going to advance our technology so quickly that within 10, 15 years, we'll have, Star Trek shit. Because I mean, I feel like there's been how they were spoon feeding us things about aliens. I think they've been restricting technology to a certain extent. Because I thought of this the other day. What happens when a human gets technologies of a god? Like what happens when everybody has Iron Man suits and, warp gates and everything like that? It's going to be fucking madness. I mean, we can barely have guns and play nice. So that's part. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, like, in the 1940s, we developed the most advanced weapon ever known to mankind. And now in 2023, how many years later? 60, 80 some odd years later, almost?
Yeah.
It's telling me that that is still our most advanced weapon. There's no possible way that we jumped from the technology we had in, let's say, 80s, 90s, to the technology we have now in a civilian capacity. There's absolutely no way that we don't have some massively crazy shit, just bonkers that we don't know about.
Right. No, and that's why, the US, that's why I said, like, who knows what they're doing in some deep, dark bunker funded by our taxpayer dollars. And if they didn't, I would be severely disappointed.
Shame.
But yeah, I do believe there's been a stifling of technology. And I think a part of that has been because of oil profits, obviously. I mean, if you're running a $200 trillion a year business, and some dude comes out with like, oh, hey, this suitcase will provide energy to the city for free. You're not going to let that guy live.
Hell no.
No. And this, of course, comes back to the control of, some secret groups. I definitely believe there are many secret groups that want to influence the world, because that's what rich people do. They get bored and they think, oh, look at these peasants. We know how to, we can think better than these, monkeys. So we'll direct the world in a way we want to. I mean, Bill Gates just came out with his mosquito factory. Did you hear about that?
What's that?
Bill Gates runs a program that is making 20 million mosquitoes a day. And it's, of course, mixed with some genetically altered situation to fight dengue. But I'm sorry. I firmly believe Bill Gates is a Bond villain.
That's crazy, Dan.
Did you know he owns the most farmland in America? Yeah, Bill Gates is the #1 owner of farmland in America.
No shit.
He also pushes the WEF, you will own nothing and eat crickets.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, which is funny because he looks terrible.
He really does.
I think if I had that kind of money, I would look amazing, be in great shape.
Oh, hell yeah.
What are some of your favorite alien movies you grew up on?
Oh, man. I liked Signs, and I don't know if that's necessarily an alien movie because you see them like twice.
Yeah.
But like it was awesome because it was one of those movies that I had to sneak away and watch. Like I wasn't really allowed to watch any kind of like scary movie, or I mean, even if it was like a PG-13, I was gonna have a rough time with it. Like I was raised in a super Mormon household. But yeah, you wouldn't know it looking at me now. But yeah, Signs was one that just loved me. I loved the part when they're running around the house like, I'm insane with anger, I'm losing my mind. I don't know, man. That movie was just great. I snuck away and watched Alien versus Predator also.
Okay.
A couple of like the different Alien Predator movies. I loved those. Um, but really that's kind of about it.
Signs was a great movie. M. Night Shyamalan has had some hits, but he's had a lot of misses too.
He really has.
But Signs, I mean, you got Mel Gibson, you got Joaquin Phoenix. It was a great story.
Awesome.
Aliens and Predators, I grew up on that shit. I was kind of the opposite household. My dad died when I was 9. Mom worked graveyard, so I watched whatever I want. I remember it was called Invaders from Mars. I don't know if you've ever
Oh,
seen that. Old school. I watched that when I was really young, and it freaked me the fuck out because it was a brutal movie. Like things coming out of people's heads, and you got these giant weird monsters with like one arm gun. But Predator, like Aliens, man, I remember a dream I had, and I remember there was an alien in it, and I was just like, oh, it's Alien. I'm giving up. I'm not, it's gonna get me. There's no way. I can't fight this thing.
you vaporized.
It's terrorized. I mean, its blood is literally fucking acid. Some of those are really good. The new one that came out, The Predators, with the guy, what is his son? He had the glasses. He was in the first Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. He had the glasses. I think his son directed it. It was pretty good.
I haven't seen that one. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, it's I think the latest one that's come out.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that one. I'm gonna have to watch
I
it.
didn't watch that Prey. What was it on Hulu or Anime? One where it's like the Native Americans. And like there's a
Oh yeah,
predator and the girl kills it. I'm like, whatever.
yeah, I know what
No.
you're talking about. I haven't seen that one either.
Um, other than that, you got any questions about aliens? You got any thoughts? Flip it on your side.
I don't know, man. Like it's a super interesting topic, but like I'm not like super well versed on it, I guess you could say. It's just, I mean, sometimes it's fun to go down the rabbit hole.
Well,
And
thankfully you're not super versed on it because nobody knows. And I've read some stuff on people, they're really into it, and you're like, you need to get outside. And like I said, what the fuck is going on, New Jersey? I lived my entire life, almost 40 years in Oregon. Never, hey, I met people that said, hey, I seen something, it was weird. Never met one person that says, I think they took it.
yeah, I've never met anybody that has said that, but that's crazy, dude.
And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, if you're an alien species and you're studying humans, yeah, you're going to pick up a couple here or there, whatever. And then also, like, what if the people abducting aliens are just like the alien asshole teenagers just fucking with people?
Right? Or like the UFOs that we see are just like the ones that are going on a joyride or some shit.
Right. They're just like,
What's up?
yeah, it's like, we're not supposed to be here, but, humans, we're going to mutilate your cows. Because they're talking about, what was it? The ex-Israeli, the director of the Israeli space program was talking about how there's the Galactic Federation, which I like. I like that idea. I like that there's an idea of a galactic federation. You got a couple species. There's probably some conflicts here and there with the different species and everything like that. But one of the theories is that, we just haven't evolved to a level to be accepted into the Galactic Federation yet because we are still such primitive beings and low vibration. That's a good.
Yeah, we're still babies in the universe. If we're going to be comparing ourselves to beings that can do what they're doing, that can move at the speed they're doing through time and space, yeah,
Right.
we're
No,
just
that's why,
monkeys.
like, I firmly, well, we're very, like I keep telling people, I think we're barely more than monkeys. So why do we have such high expectations of them? Going on with that. Sorry, it's just been a long day already.
You're
My
all good.
brain's fried. Need to go get some mushrooms. Do you think using drugs, have you done much psychedelics or anything like that?
Some. I've done mushrooms a couple times. I've fucked around with acid a little bit.
Okay,
I've never done DMT. I've wanted to,
you should.
but
You really should. You want to go somewhere? You want to meet somebody? Do some DMT.
possibly, dude, that'd be cool.
I went somewhere and met a blue man in a loincloth.
You know, my buddy from PA, he tells me the same thing. He says that he traveled to the other end of the universe and met giant blue people.
Okay. Mine wasn't a giant blue. He was more like, he looked like Aboriginal. He had like a loincloth on and he was like real thin and muscular, except he just had like this, blue tinge to his skin. And he had the skullet, the old man skullet, no hair
yeah.
up here, but here on the
but
sides and the back.
little headband.
And then he showed me it looked like a shadow to his left-hand side. It was black and it had little spots of light in it. And then all of a sudden it started cubing off from the top and shooting off into space. And I was like, I have no fucking clue what that means.
You're just adding to the space that we have. Is that
I don't know. But I'm pretty sure I've gone some places I shouldn't have gone, but it's like that, like, hey, you're not trained to be here. You shouldn't be here. Because that's what it is. It's, a shortcut, like DMT, acid, it's all that. What monks and wizards train their entire lives to do, we're just like, hey, take this. And boom.
Go do it.
Yeah. So I don't know how I feel about that. I probably shouldn't have, but it is what it is. And I mean, I think the aliens and interdimensional beings are understanding enough to know that, yeah, this is going to happen. This is what humanity does. We push ourselves beyond our borders of what we should be doing, and we don't understand the ramifications of our actions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they give us a little bit of grace on that.
Yeah, and I mean, from my buddy's story too, he was told that he shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And he was like thrown back apparently, and that's how he came back.
The one time that a being told me I shouldn't be here, I had I was in a deep dream, and I was like under the ocean, sinking down like super, super deep. And I came upon this like circular cavern, and in it was this, like, it looked like a giant lobster the size of, a VW bus. And it said, man shouldn't be here. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on out there. I'm hoping here pretty soon we'll get some clarification, because shit is going down. I don't know. You kind of feel it. I know I have for the last couple of years. I kind of foreseen something's coming.
Something big's coming. I
Don't
know what it is, but
well, we are transitioning into the age of Aquarius. So the age of Pisces is coming to an end of it's like a 2,300 years cycle. And we're coming up into the age of Aquarius. It's that old hippies, 60s hippie song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's at the end of 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think there's going to be a lot more conflict. I think there's going to be a lot more craziness. And I'm super excited.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a freaking go bag sitting over there. Just waiting for shit to hit the fan, man.
Oh,
and
no,
when it does, gonna dip.
Well, when you look at what happened over the last couple of years, and we all remember the tart and with the Costco run on toilet paper that didn't need to happen because there was nothing going on. And, I'm down here halfway between Phoenix and Tucson. And the only water around here is canaled in from the base of the Rocky Mountains, almost 400 miles away. So if the water goes, oh, dude, that was another thing about that movie, Stephen King, The Mist. it really showed people how quickly they will devolve into utter madness when presented with a tough situation. And Americans have had it very easy. We have stores full of food, we have electricity on demand, we have everything, creature comfort we want. And I mean, still people just, as soon as they're uncomfortable, the world crumbles around them and they just freak out. So I'm excited and terrified. And somebody is wanting attention at your house.
Oh, can you hear him?
Oh yeah.
Oh, oh shit.
Meow.
I'm sorry. I thought I had my background noise off. Yeah, I
Oh no,
locked him
he's
in.
good. He's a kitty.
One sec. Rama.
No worries. You're gonna have to bring him in and show him to everybody now.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
No.
do. 1 second, I'll go grab him.
And if you don't love the kitties, you're a psychopath. Well, you are kind of a psychopath because you love kitties. We are. Oh, it's a good kitty. You know I love the kitties. And the puppies. All the fluffy little animals. Fluffy little animals. The fuzzy animals. There we go.
This is Rama. Hey, Rama.
Rama.
Say hello. Yeah, Rama. Say what's up, dude. Hi.
There's a good. There's a nice little void.
Yeah, he's a little
I
night
don't
fury.
hurt. Well, I'm babysitting a dog at the moment, but I don't have any animals, so I go out and.
He's fucking with my cord. There you go,
That's
buddy.
what they do. They're assholes. They're cats. They're naturally assholes. It's who they are instinctually.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you notice how how when your cat will come up to you, want attention, but then go like 3 feet away from you and then sit with its ass toward you and then
That
look back.
that's
That's
what he does every time.
that's cat love. That is literally cat love. That is saying, I trust you enough that I don't think you're going to attack and eat me. So I'm going to turn my back towards you.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
That's
he's the shit.
which reminds me, spay and neuter your pet. I volunteer at a cat shelter. It's kitten season. We have way too many.
Adopt, don't shop.
True that. And I think on that, we will just leave it there. I
All
forgot to
right.
set a timer, but it feels like it's coming up on about an hour.
Roughly, yeah. It's 1:50 now.
We will have to set another thing because I want to delve into you said you were raised Mormon.
Yes.
And I've been learning some interesting things about Mormonism, about how deeply occultic it is in the higher levels. I mean, they have pajamas with runes on them,
Yep.
right?
Not necessarily runes, but they have special pajamas, special underwear. Yeah.
Yeah, the magic underwear.
Yeah. It's all white. So the guys they wear like they're called garments in
They look like
Satanism.
long johns, right?
Basically, so it's actually two pieces. It's like long. They're kind of between boxers and boxer briefs, if that makes
Okay.
any kind of sense. And
No.
it's like this white, light, I want to say cotton it's very light material. I never wore them. You have to be ordained an elder and you have to go through the temple in order to wear them. And
Right.
you only wear them when you're temple worthy. Um, like living your life temple worthy is what I should say. But yeah, so the guys wear like a light white t-shirt, light white boxers, and the ladies they wear something similar, you know, white
Right.
top.
I think I've seen pictures of them.
Yeah, I saw my mom's like hanging in the closet one day, and they were like kind of like lacy around the edges and stuff, like a little bit ornate, I guess you could say.
Now,
But
what is the function of those, though? Is it
I really just think it's like because that kind of gets explained to you kind of when you get to that level of the ordination and everything. And I say that kind of like that kind of really is a culty now that I fucking think about it. But there's like a lot of things
You
that
have
I
to
just feel
buy
like,
them. You have to go to an ordained minister. He's going to sell them to you. It sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
well, there's actually like little shops you can go to called
Right.
distribution centers, and you can get them there too. So that's like my mom would take me out. She's like, yeah, we got to go to the distribution center. I got to pick up new garments. My old ones are getting dirty and stuff like that. So yeah, but you do have to buy them, but you can only buy them, if you're temple worthy and all that, able to take the sacrament every week.
Right. You got to be certified.
Yeah.
Okay. And then recently I learned that John Smith was an actual Freemason.
Was he?
Yes.
He was, yeah.
Which just, I
Jeez,
mean,
well, I'm gonna stop.
all right, man. Well, thanks for coming on. It was nice chat. I'll hit you up and we'll talk again. Okay.
Yeah, man, sounds great. Thanks for having me.
All right. Till then, have a good one, bud.
You too, man.
All right. Bye.